Hey guys, I'm Josh from Layzee Acres. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do an orientation on the Imagine line of trailers. Our plan is to do a orientation to get the people used to using their trailers, something they can refer back to. We're going to try to do one video per year per sub-brand. So one video on Imagine, one video on Reflection, one video on Transcend or J-Flight or J-Flight SLX. Just so that customers can refer back to something. There's also lots of customers who can't come do an orientation, right? So these kind of videos are for you, or the type of customer who is looking to get into an Imagine or Reflection or Transcend, but they want to understand how this trailer actually works, what kind of maintenance is involved. That's what these videos are for. The negative on this video is it's going to be boring, tedious, not going to be very salesy. It's just going to try to show you how everything works. It's going to be less formal, I guess you'd say, too. We're just going to try to run through everything as best we can. I hope you guys like it. We're going to start on the outside. Hey guys, just starting the outside of the orientation for this Imagine line 2020. We're going to take this slow. It's going to be boring. Feel free to skip ahead as you want. But let's just get into this. Right here we have our front power jack, extend or retract. That's obviously extending or retracting that leg. So if you extend, it's going to lift the trailer up. There's a light here as well. There's a plug here at the top. You can stick a knife in here, pull out this plug with a crank on top. That's a 3/4 inch socket, so you can bring this up and down manually, up and down. It's the same handle as your stabilizer jacks. So that's nice and easy there. There is a 2 5/16 ball on this model on all the Imagines. Got it. 2 5/16 ball. When you go to hook this trailer up, the ball comes in underneath, coupler locks over top, pin goes in. The pin doesn't let the coupler unlock. We have a 7-way hookup on this. This has to plug into the truck itself. The truck or the vehicle has to have a brake controller to operate this properly, and that's your light hookup. Then there's chains. The chains need to crisscross, right? So this chain on this side hooks up underneath to the truck here on this side. This chain hooks up on that side like so. The fourth thing to make you legal as you travel down the road is the breakaway switch. So this hooks up to the truck on a separate link like so. And if the trailer ever becomes detached from the truck, this pulls a pin at the back and then locks up the brakes on the trailer so the trailer doesn't keep rolling down the road after you. So those four things: pin, lights, chain, and breakaway cable. Right on. Then we have our propane tanks right here. There's a little cable here, or bungee holding that down. These will come to you full. Whichever tank this switch right here is pointing at is the tank it's drawing off of. When this tank goes empty, there's a red light that will show up here on this glass piece, and it will automatically start drawing off the other tank. This tank is empty, so you actually can see it's red there right now. If that tank was full and the tank was open, that would be a clear piece in there. So basically, this tank, whatever tank this is pointing at, when this goes down, this will turn red. It will automatically start drawing off of this tank. Then you can flip the switch over to this side, detach this tank, get it filled, and bring it back in. Then when this tank goes empty, this will turn red again, and it'll automatically it'll automatically switch over. You'll flip it over here, and you can take this tank off and get it filled, just back and forth like that. You have to get these tanks revalved every 10 years. You just get them filled or exchange it at like your local propane place. In behind here will be a battery in a box. These wires here will be hooked up to that battery. Black is negative, red is positive. For the winter, you have to take your battery out and bring it inside the house. Do not store it on a concrete floor. You don't have to worry about disconnecting these leads though, because you have a battery disconnect on all of your Imagines. So we'll get to that here in a second. But you have to remove it every winter and bring it inside the house. Awesome. Come down this way. We have a solar prep right here. So you can have a Furrion panel, right? Plug it into here, and that's already is prepped and ready to go for your Furrion plug. There is adapters you can get if you have like a Zamp plug or something like that, but this is designed now for a Furrion panel. We have our pass-through storage. First thing you see in your pass-through storage is this big 50 amp Anaconda of a cord. Okay, So this plugs into the trailer, that end right there, and this is your 50 amp cord. Now most of your Imagines, or all your Imagines that I've seen, only have one AC, so there's nothing stopping you from adapting this from 50 amps down to 30 amps, okay, which is what we have here. And then, so you can operate everything on 30 amps there, like so. Then you could even go further, and you can adapt this down to 15 amps, okay? When you're running on 15 amps, you can't run your AC or your electric water heater, but you can run everything else. So yeah, this makes it a little bit easier. Like, let's say you go to a park, it only has 15 amp service, you can adapt it on 15 amps, but you have to, you can't use your AC or electric water heater. All right, we also have our jack handle in through here. Like I said, that's a 3/4 inch socket. We bring those up and down, nice and easy, okay? Just crank them. These are called stabilizers though. They're not to level the trailer, they're just to stabilize the trailer. So when you come up to your site, you're gonna level your site side to side at first using the wheels. Let's say you're low on this side. You would pull a head off the site, put a piece of wood down, like a piece of 2x6, drive up on that piece. That's gonna pick up this side, level side to side, right? Then once you have a level side to side, you use your front jack, level front to back. Once it's level side to side and front to back, then you use this to bring these down and stabilize the trailer. Like I said, this is also the same hookup that, or same crank to use to bring up or down your front jack manually if you need to. Nothing stopping you from putting a 3/4 inch socket on a drill and bringing those down with a drill. Then inside here, we have an outside receptacle. That's easy. If this isn't working, it's because your GFI inside is kicked. So that's attached to that GFI. Then you have all your cable hookups through here. So if you have cable at the site, you're going to put it right into cable, all right? And that's going to split out to your outside, like your bedroom, your living room, your outside TV, your other bedroom. But if you have satellite, you have to hook up individual components. So you're going to hook up the living room, you're going to hook up the rear bedroom, you're going to hook up the front bedroom. The difference is you can't split satellite signal before the receiver, so that's why they split those up for you. We have that battery disconnect I was telling you about, right? So if you're not using the trailer, it's in storage, you can just disconnect the battery like so. There's a propane detector, a smoke alarm, a radio inside that will slowly draw down your battery if you just leave it plugged in. Then right here, this is where you hook up your city water connection. So if you have water at the site, you're going to bring a hose up through this hole right here, okay, up through, hook it into here, and turn on the water. Whatever water pressure you have going in is water pressure on the taps and on the lines. Most people use what's called a pressure regulator to bring the pressure down below 60 psi, because these lines are only good for 60 psi, or rated for 60 psi. But that's up to you. We would suggest use a pressure regulator. So you're hooked up to here. You're operating all the plumbing facilities and stuff like that. But if you go to a site that doesn't have water, you need to fill your freshwater tank, and you can also do that from here. So from home, you bring a hose up, hook it up to here, turn this to freshwater fill, and that's going to power fill your freshwater tank for you. So that's the city water connection and freshwater. Those are your two water kind of systems. When you're using freshwater fill, you have to use the water pump that we're going to see from the inside. I'll show you where the switch is for that. And then here's just your outside shower. Basically just a blue slinky-like hose. It's like an air fitting. So you push that in, that goes in, and then you have hot and cold water here at that tap. Just don't forget to winterize this, but we'll talk about that. On the topic of winterizing, they do give you an outline here for how to bypass your water heater and hook up your siphon kit. My honest opinion with winterizing, guys, is just pay someone to do it. Just pay the 60, 70, 80 bucks, whatever it costs, to have someone winterize your trailer properly. But if you are going to do it yourself, pay attention to those. I'm going to do a video specifically on winterizing, but just don't forget to winterize your outside shower. Okay, then we're at the freshwater fill. So you can fill your freshwater tank here, but sometimes you get to a provincial park and they don't have an end on the hose. So if they don't have an end on the hose, easy. You just stick the hose in here, okay? Turn the water on. When the freshwater tank is full, it's going to splash back out at you, okay? That's nice and easy. Below us should be the drain for the freshwater tank, okay? And that's this guy right here, this big white gate valve, okay? So when you go to drain your freshwater tank, boom, that's going to fall out there, all the water. Now, obviously, floor plan to floor plan, this is going to be different. but I mean where that location is, but it's usually right underneath where your freshwater fill is. All right, then we have a few different gate valves here around. They're labeled, right? Black water tank. Okay, so that'd be for your black water tank. This will be for your gray water tank. Let's get that over here. Okay, and that's gonna be in different locations and different floor plans. The key is that if you are at a site that has sewer, let's say you're plumbed right in right here, right? So let's make that's right. So you have a sewer hose keyed on right into the ground. You can leave your gray water open, let that run out as it builds up, right? Like you have a shower, that water leaves. But you have to leave your black water closed. If you leave your black water open, the liquids are going to run out and the solids are going to build up on the bottom of the tank, okay? So you have to leave your black water closed. When the tank is full, you come back here, close your gray water, and open your black water. And all that black water, toilet water, is going to flow out all at once. That's really important. When you've drained your black water, you're going to leave that gate valve open and you're going to hook up a hose to your black water flush. And that's going to be different locations and different floor plans, but I'll show you where it is on this one. You hook up that with the gate valve open, turn on the water, and it's going to spray down the inside of your black water tank. It's an issue, a big issue. If you leave your black water closed and you hook up the water on the outside to the black water flush, there's going to be pressure in the tank, it's going to build up, you're going to have a bad issue. So always hook up your black water, but before you turn it on, make sure that gate valve's open. Okay? Awesome. Some floor plans will have 2 gray water tanks, sometimes they'll have 1. A lot of fifth wheels will have... Bless you, Karen, man. A lot of the fifth wheels will have 2 gray water tanks. Yeah. Alright, so then here we have our 15-inch tires. On the smaller Imagines, there'll be 14-inch tires. The 15-inch tires, though, they will have 65 PSI. Keep them at 65. The 14-inch tires will be at 50 PSI. Keep them at 50 PSI. You can do what you want with this nitro fill thing. You can top them up with air if you want, or you can go to Canadian Tire, get them topping up there with nitro fill. That's up to you. The lug nuts are torqued down to 110 PSI or 110 foot-pounds because they're aluminum rims. So you should check those because it's the first few trips, right? You should check that when you get home, and then after the first couple trips, keep torquing those down to 110 foot-pounds. You pull out this cover here. There's a black rubber cover in behind there. You can grease your bearings. Now, when I say grease your bearings, I mean put a shot of grease in. And you can do that at 6,000 miles, and then you have the bearings repacked at 12,000 miles. So a shot of grease at 6,000 miles, and repack the bearings at 12,000 miles. There's no odometer on the trailer, so it's just your best guess. And that's a long way, right? 6,000 miles, that's a long time, or long distance. 12,000 miles, same kind of thing. Okay? Awesome. Come down this way here. Some more stabilizer jacks. There's bumper plugs that come with this unit. A lot of people store their sewer hose in here, and you put the bumper plug on top. You have a roof ladder right here. You got to get up on your roof, check your seams every 90 days, every 3 months, and you have to do that religiously. If you don't do that, it's just a matter of time before your trailer starts to leak. You have to be up there maintaining your seals. I'm going to do a specific video just on roof maintenance, and we'll get to that, but you have to be up there checking those seals religiously. Okay? This is where the plug is in, right? So your big 50 amp cord is going to plug into here. We just use a little cheater for now. Full size spare, of course, right? That's not a aluminum rim. Here's your water heater. So unless you're winterizing your trailer, you don't touch this. There's no switches here. There's no valves to kick, nothing. The only reason you'd ever come back here is if you yourself are winterizing your trailer, and the reason that is you're going to drain your water heater. So that's the plug right there to drain your water heater. Should be doped up. I'll just put it in there loose for now. But otherwise, yes, don't touch it. It gets warm. Just don't touch it. Leave it alone. Okay. Here is an outside spray port. So this is like an outside shower, but it's only cold water. Same kind of thing. You use that blue slinky-like hose. It pushes in like an air fitting. Right on, guys. I went inside, grabbed the right keys. This is a good time to talk about keys, though. So, you have a key here called a 751 key. That is for your outside kitchen, your generic kind of key. Then you have a Southco key. That is for your slam latch doors that has teeth on both sides. And then you have a key for each door. So 381 and 372. So it'll be a different key for each door. This trailer has two different doors. You should write those numbers down somewhere, like 381 and 372, because that way, if you lose your key, you can always call us up, say, hey, I lost my keys, but I know what the code is, and we can just send you the proper keys. It'll be different on every single one, so it'll be specific. But this one right here is 381 and 372. Cool. Now we're into our outside kitchen here. This has a pull-out grill. The grill is not hooked up always for propane. You have to pull the hose down, like so. All right, get underneath the trailer and hook it up. Just like the outside shower fitting, it's like kind of like a little air fitting. So you push it in, pull the sleeve over. Come on, Josh. And then you turn the valve on. Okay. If you have the valve on and you try to hook up this fitting, it's not going to work. You have to have the valve off, then you hook up the hose, okay, like that, and then you turn the valve on. Okay. But then when you go to put the stove away, you have to unhook this, and then it just wraps up underneath, pushes in, like so. Alright. Not every Imagine has an outside kitchen, but if it does, that's how you hook up your stovetop. We have another receptacle here. This one, like the one in the front storage, is hooked up to the GFI, so if it's not working, it's because the GFI is kicked. And then, nothing really to talk about with this fridge. It's electric only. You can adjust the temperature. That's pretty straightforward. Okay. Furnace vent, just don't touch it. Fridge vent, just don't touch it. This range hood right here, now it's in the open position. When you're traveling, though, you have to clip this down and lock it in place. Okay. But then when you get to where you're going, you have to unlock those levers, and the fan on the range will push the flap out and vent out over top of the range there. Okay, these stairs are new to the industry. They're pretty slick. But what I've seen happen is if you have these legs extended too long, okay, what's going to happen is the door is going to rub here on the top of the stair. Alright, so always do a little test run. Don't just slam the door the first time you set the stairs down, and make sure they're adjusted correctly. And if you're high on one side and low on the other side, you can adjust that. And by adjusting that, what I mean is this pin right here pops out, slide the leg down, and there you go. Okay. And then on this model, we have two spots, one right here and one further back, and that's to manually bring in or out your slide out. And that is the same fitting as the stabilizer jacks, the handle for that, so you can manually bring in or out your slide using that crank there if you have like a battery issue or something like that. LED lights, they're switched from the inside, we'll get to that. Outside speakers are switched on and off on the radio. This, because the washroom on this model is right here, this is where your black water flush is, right there. So when you have your black water valve open, you can hook up a garden hose here, turn it on, and it's going to spray down the inside of your black water tank. For maintenance on the outside, the big thing is checking your roof seals, right? That's the most important thing. Everything else is somewhat self-explanatory. Like these stairs, for example, they'll get stiff over time, so you should lubricate the pivot points, right? Lubricate your door locks, because eventually they'll be hard to get the keys in. I would use like a dry lube, like a Teflon though, because that way dirt doesn't stick to it and corrode. And then you should do a visual inspection of all your other seals every once in a while. These don't usually break free, but it's something you want to keep an eye on. Something around there, around the corners, those kind of things. Awesome, guys. So that was the outside of the Imagine. Let's have a look inside. Hey guys, we're inside that Imagine 3250 now. Just going to do our safety stuff first. First things first, you have a fire extinguisher always right by the door here in each floor plan. You have a smoke alarm above our head right here. That is just on a 9-volt battery. You got to be checking that battery. If the battery gets low, it's going to beep at you once every 30 seconds. Same kind of thing, there's a carbon monoxide detector in the main bedroom. Same thing, 9-volt battery, it's going to beep at you every 30 seconds if the battery gets low. The other one that's a little bit different is the propane detector. And again, these are going to be different locations each time, but that's what it looks like. that is wired right into the trailer. So if the battery on the front of the trailer goes low, one of the things that's going to slowly draw down your battery. If that goes low, that again is going to beep once every 30 seconds or so. Also, sometimes I've heard that if you're cleaning with anything different, like a different kind of chemical, it can set that off as well. So it may not necessarily be a propane leak, maybe something you've just been doing in that area, cleaning or something like that. So just a heads up on that. Then let's light your gas appliances. So before you go to try to light your fridge, your water heater, your furnace, anything like that, always light your stovetop first. Get the propane going, get the air out of the lines, and then you can go try to light everything else. So you just turn your burner here to on. I can hear the gas come through, and I just spark it. Okay, so that's pretty easy. If you're not really comfortable with the sparker, you can use an open flame like a lighter of some kind, but the sparker works quite well. So once you've lit that, then you can go about lighting everything else. Now your oven is new for this year, or for I guess last year. You can now use the sparker for the oven. But first thing we do, we turn this to pilot, which is that little flame right there, and hold this in. Okay? As I'm holding this in, I spark as well. Okay? Now, this is the first time you've done this in a few months, it may take a few minutes for the gas to get to that pilot. I just lit it before we went on the camera there, so I knew it would be working. If you get underneath there, you can see what I'm saying. Just a little blue flame. Get further down there. You see it there? Awesome. So then, once I have that on, I hold this in for about 30 seconds, let the thermocouple heat up, let it out, and then turn to whatever temperature I want. Okay? You can see the reflection there of the burner. It's the full burner there. Okay? If I'm going to use the oven a few times that weekend, I'll just leave this on pilot. Right? But if I'm only going to use it once that weekend or week, I'll just turn it off. Okay. The oven doesn't get used too much, but it is pretty easy to light now that you don't have to get, because before you used to have to get on your hands and knees and light it way back there, which is obviously a pain in the butt. Now you can use the sparker. Okay. Right to your right is the fridge. So this is pretty easy, guys. Turn it on. Okay. There's going to be a light here that shows up either on auto or gas. Okay. So I have on auto right now, and because I'm plugged in, it's automatically going to run on hydro. If I were to unplug, like just pull out of the wall, drive down the road, it would automatically go from AC power to gas. Okay? If for some reason I wanted to force it to gas, even though I'm on hydro, I would push this button below the auto, and it forces it to gas. Now it's going to try lighting gas by itself. If you try to light your fridge without lighting your burners, you're going to be here for hours. It's going to take a long time because it's a very, very small line that goes to the fridge. So always light your burners first. But for your typical camper, you're just going to have an auto. If you have hydro, it'll use it. If not, it'll just flip over to gas. And oh, sorry, there is a temperature control here, 1 through 5. Let you play with that. One thing with fridges, guys, especially RV fridges, that they take a while to cool down. If there's nothing in the fridge and you start it from warm and go cold, it'll take 4 or 5 hours. If you put a bunch of warm food in there, you're talking about 7 or 8 hours. So just always put that stuff in ahead of time, overnight or whatever. Because if you just try to cool it down really, really quick, it's not that efficient. Okay, awesome. I don't think there's anything in here I can show you. That's just a pantry. That's just the secondary bedroom. Nothing really to show you in here. There is a TV location. Let's do that. So right here is a piece of plywood in behind this panel. So you can mount a secondary TV right here. Now, if I was mounting a TV by myself, I wouldn't just run a screw in and hope there's a piece of plywood there. What I would do is carve a small little drill bit, like a 16th inch drill bit, run a hole in there, just like 1/2 inch or so, just to see if there's actually plywood there. And then if there's not, you can easily fill that with wood putty, nice and easy. If you just want to run a random screw in there, it's going to make a mess of things. It's going to be harder to fill. So I always check that before I start actually running in legitimate screws, just so it keeps it nice and clean. And you have another one of those locations in the main bedroom as well. All right. Here we have your fireplace. That's just switches. You can mess around with that. There's typically like a timer, so you can go up to 6 hours. Okay. You can just have it on just the lights. right? And you can control how you want to have that. You can control the heat, set it at 82 or whatever you want to do there, and then you can just turn it off. Okay, that's pretty simple. I'll let you play around with that a little bit. This behind here is where our DVD player is. Again, I'll let you play around with this. You have speakers inside and out, and you control those with Zone A and Zone B. The power button's right there. Still want that to blare over us. You have AM, FM, auxiliary input, USB input, DVD, all that fun stuff. There is a plug-in here too, so you can hook up like an Apple TV or something. This TV is on an arm, but it has to be all the way back for travel because it locks in place back there. And if you don't, it's going to come out and around and dig your TV up. Alright, in behind the TV though, you have your coax fitting. Okay, so there's 3 systems on this, right? So there's cable to run into your TV, that you like park cable. You've hooked that up to the trailer. That's going to go right into the TV, and you're watching a channel if they have cable to park. Then there's a TV antenna. Now you don't touch the TV antenna. The TV antenna is just up on these, and you have to turn this on for that. See how there's a red light there now? That's boosting the signal on the TV antenna. Off, on. If you have that on and you're trying to watch cable from the park, it's not going to work. Okay? Then the one below is your satellite hookup. So that is a specific feed from outside to the main living. You're going to come from here to the receiver, and then the receiver to the TV. Okay? That's pretty in depth though with satellite and stuff that you don't have a lot of people do on travel trailers. But you know, you can do that. Awesome. Let's have a look at your washer. Not much really to say, other than with the toilet, you have to leave antifreeze in this case, or water in your toilet bowl. If it's just a dry toilet bowl, your bathroom's going to stink because there's nothing keeping the stink down. So you leave a couple inches there. That's what traps your odor in the toilet bowl. And to do that, you just touch the pedal. It's going to put water in. If you push the pedal all the way to the floor, it's going to open the bowl. Everything's going to fall down. So always leave water in your toilet bowl. That's the one key there. Make sure you strap this for travel. That's pretty straightforward. We do have max air covers on a lot of our vents now. So when you're traveling, you can't really leave water in the toilet bowl, right? Because it's going to splash all over the place. So leave your vent open. That way, at least the bad smells are venting out while you're traveling. Nothing really in the bedroom at all. Just another TV location, but that's specific to every floor plan. Let's come back out here and give a look at the switches and all that kind of stuff, because that's a lot of the bulk of the controls. So Imagine will all have this panel here, okay? But not every Imagine will have 3 slides. This one does, but not everyone will have all these holes filled up. So when I'm pushing these slides in or out, there's a clutch sound. That lets me know my slide is all the way out. It should make the opposite sound when it comes in. So when I bring the slide out in and it makes that same noise, that just lets me know I'm all the way in. That's for the rack and pinion slides. For the Schwinn-Tech slides, which I believe is slide number 3, that one just stops. When it goes all the way out, that slide just stops. There's no clutch noise. It's just the rack and pinion slides that make that clutch noise. Okay. We have ceiling lights, that's obvious, outside lights, water pump. So if you have water in your water tank, your freshwater tank, you can turn your water pump on. Okay? Sometimes you can hear it. I can hear it faintly. What that pump's doing is it's pumping from the fresh water and pumping into your sinks and your taps and your showers, those kind of things, toilet, everything like that. If you have water at the site, like you're plugged right in, right? You do not need to have your water pump on. That is only for if you're dry camping with water in the tank. All right. The other 2 features here that you see, or the switches that you see, are a gas water heater and an electric water heater. So they're labeled. You can run them at the same time, actually. You'll have hot water faster. But if you're running on gas, easy. Just flip it on. If you're standing outside, you'll hear click, 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 and then the roar of the flame. If you flip it on electric, you won't hear anything. You'll just have hot water an hour later, right? The key is with electric water heaters that you make sure you have water in the tank. Okay, so like the water heater itself. If you try to run your electric water heater and there's no water in the tank, you're going to burn out your element. So you have to make sure there's water in the tank itself. Okay, the easiest way to do that is I run it on gas, right? And come back an hour later, check my hot water. If I have hot water coming into my taps, then I know I have water in my tank. That's the easiest way to do it for the first time that year, and then for the rest of that season, you have, because the water doesn't leave the tank. You have water in the water heater. The other thing we have here as part of our convenience center is our monitor panel, so you can check the levels of your tanks. So you have a gray water for your kitchen, a gray water for your washroom, a black water for your washroom, a fresh water tank, we talked about that, and a battery. So the fresh water, the battery, the gray waters, they'll be fairly reliable, but the black water will lie to you, right? It'll say 1/3 full or 2/3 full, and it will be empty. And basically what's happening is there's some debris on the sensor, like the 2/3 sensor, and it'll be reading 2/3 full, but it'll actually be empty. So just don't trust the black water one. You can trust the other ones. You can see how full the gray water is. It has one light, which means it's empty. Check the other gray water, it's empty. Fresh water is empty. Battery should read full because I'm plugged in. The black water, like I said, will often lie to you. All right, last thing we're going to do is operate the awning. Sorry if that messed with the camera there, but with the awning, you have an extend to retract button. I just push extend. Awning comes out. Basically, the awning is out all the way when the little valance that's about 6 inches long hangs out at 90 degrees pointing down at the trailer. So it comes out all the way. Awesome. So come on out with me, cameraman. I know it's bright and you're going to be looking into the sun here, but there is a little valance. It's still wrapped up right now, but it's facing the bottom. That's how far the awning should be out. Okay? Now, the original generation, or the first generation of these electric awnings, you could not adjust the pitch. So you couldn't make one side lower than the other, but now you can. So, how you do that, we'll do it over here because it looks a little easier. You just come here to this arm and pull this arm down. Okay? See how now the water will naturally run off this way? Okay? You have to make sure though that when you go to bring the awning back in, that you push this back to where it's straight. Okay, for when you bring the awning back in. These awnings are not meant for high levels of rain, wind at all. So if it's windy, you pull it away. If it's starting to rain really, really hard, you put it away. It's just meant for like light rain, to keep sun off you, that kind of stuff. If you have, if you break your awning because too much water sat on top of the fabric, that's not a warranty thing. If a wind comes up, it pulls the awning off the side of the trailer because it got too windy, that's not a warranty thing. So those are things you have to be careful with, right? Put the awning away if it's in a windy situation. Don't run away from your trailer for an hour with the awning out because you don't know what's going to happen in the meantime. We get all kinds of insurance claims and stuff like that every year because people leave their awnings open. So put the awning away if you're not there. I think that was pretty well it, guys, inside and out. If you want to like the video, that's cool. I know it was tedious, I know it was boring, but hopefully you guys learned a few things. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.